You might remember that 3 years ago we held an exhibition at the Goldmark Gallery of 3 Armenian artists bringing contemporary Armenian painting to Little Rutland. Well, this winter we have a selection of paintings by one of those artists, Tigran Asatryan, and we'd like to show them to you today. Armenia is a place with a 1,000-year cultural heritage, an ancient cultural heritage. But the story that's told by these paintings is a more recent one of life lived under the Soviet Union, the dying days of the Soviet Union, and then the emergence of Armenia as an independent state. I think something of that experience, what must have been a fairly surreal and strange time to live through, is reflected in these paintings by Tigran Asatryan. He went to a Russian school as a young boy and then witnessed, as a young up-and-coming artist, the collapse of the Soviet Union. Emerging from Soviet rule and into a wider international world, there is a kind of blending of art historical references going on in Tigran's paintings, as there is in many Armenian contemporary painters. A kind of drawing on different elements of cultural touchstones. So you'll see plenty of kind of old master composition, painterly styles in some of these pictures, combined with very contemporary elements, contemporary scenes, pictures, contemporary figures and characters. Most importantly, there's a sense of mystique, of fun and sometimes of farce to these paintings, and that's reflected not just in the images that we see in these weird assemblages, these weird compositions of strange sort of disparate elements and expressions, but also in the way that paint has been applied. Sometimes very sort of almost like a sort of polished surface. You can see the glistening light off the skin, and then at times much looser and even sort of drawn over the top with pencil lines. There's a kind of a blending, a mixing, a constant shifting between something that is hyper-realistic and something that's much looser and stranger. The magical fairy tale tone element to these paintings is not hard to miss. I think it speaks to perhaps a history that's more recent than we might think for contemporary Armenian painters, making sense of a time period that lasts 20 or 30 years as humans do, with storytelling, with symbols. But this also ties back to Tigran's academic teaching. Apparently, as a young painter, working with actors, models on stages, was part of his training. And that kind of theatricality, that idea that what we're looking at is almost like a sort of stage set, the layers that things have been set in front of us on some of these paintings, feels very much like that way of working has continued in his painting ever since. There was a strange blending of time periods, of art historical reference, of approaches, of ways of putting the paint on the canvas in these paintings, which can be quite bewildering when you come across them for the first time. But really, these paintings are kind of reflective, they're kind of an allegory for what artists like Tigran Asatryan have had to do, emerging with Armenia into independence. It's trying to find a voice from a vast historical background, from your own cultural heritage, but also from the sudden revelation of access to art elsewhere in the world. I think that's reflected in the paintings that are here at the Goldmark Gallery at the moment. These paintings are here at the Goldmark Gallery. Do please come and have a look and see them. They're also available online on our website, so if you see anything you're interested in, do please get in touch. I look forward to seeing you again soon at the Goldmark Gallery.